someone will just reach out and say like, hey, do you have, alizarin crimson, like a watercolor? And you're just like, yeah, I do. Like I have like a student grade, and then I've got like something a little bit more fancy, and here's like the prices. And they're like, put it aside for me.
All right, Zara Ludin. Did I say it right?
Yes.
All right, good. Getting there for the Spare Studio in Rockland. I'm excited to talk to you about the whole idea and like what you're trying to do over there, and hear a little bit about your art. So,
yes. Oh, my art.
Well, you were telling me, you were just pointing out your piece.
Yeah.
So you actually opened the space.
So we opened July 2nd officially, but then we took a little bit of a break throughout July and August because I'm a working mom and my kids were out of school, and also just to kind of like settle into the space. But starting in September, so this month, we're going to have more regular hours, I'm hoping, and then hopefully be able to expand, start to hire people maybe this fall or this winter, so that we can have more just regular retail hours and maybe even weekend hours.
That's awesome.
But right now we're kind of open when I can be there.
Yep. I know that I've seen you posting stuff with like the month schedule and and whatnot. Are you there on the first Wednesdays that they're doing?
Yes. So we are located in the Wright Building in Rockland. And so the first Wednesday of every month they have just open studios. They started this, I think, back in April. And it's great. I think a lot more artists are starting to participate. But you can come in, take a look at some of the studios that are open. We usually provide a list in advance. And then and a lot of us are selling our wares. So so that's really nice to be able to come in and have it feel like a retail environment as well. But there's a bookstore. You've talked with a lot of artists that are in the building.
I just talked to Jeannie, last episode 51, and that was,
she's the best.
She seemed great. Like it seems like a great community over there.
Yeah. When I was first like starting out this concept, I originally thought that I wanted to be in a space like the Wright Building, but I didn't think that I was allowed to be there. I thought it was just for artists who are like producing artwork and pieces and, creating and that sort of thing. So I sort of put it out of my brain, and I was looking around at different real estate across the South Shore, and it was just prohibitively expensive. I was like entertaining places that were, upwards of $3,000 a month without even utilities or like insurance, and it was just insane. And then I had a customer reach out to me through my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is Linda Bornstein. She's a watercolor artist.
Famous artist.
Yeah, she's awesome. I love her.
Famous at the Frame Center, at least.
Yes, she loves you all. But her friend Kathy Mulgazel, who's also in the Wright Building, came by, and she wanted to buy some like hard pastels, new pastels. And she was just like, you should reach out to the Wright Building. And I was like, am I allowed to be there? Because I'm not going to be like producing art. I'm going to be selling art supplies. And she was like, just reach out to them and like see if that would be a possibility. So I reached out to Jeannie, and it was like off to the races from there. She was like, yes, we want you in this building.
It seems like a great fit. Plus you have a bunch of customers. People are painting and they run out of something. They just run down right to you. Right?
Yes. And I'm happy to be able to provide those things, sometimes someone will come in and they're just like, do you have masking tape? And I'm like, I do. Like it's half used, 10 cents or free, just take it, but it's, so it's really nice. And I'm hoping that it provides like a good resource for the arts community.
Yeah, I think it's great. And to see things not go to waste. I mean, what inspired this whole concept?
It's like, how far back do we want to go? I think like really it boiled down to there wasn't great art supply stores on the South Shore, like reliable art supply stores. And I, as an artist, as a sometimes artist who often was like taking classes to be able to produce my art, I'd get these like big lists of supplies that I would need, and I could only go online, or I'd have to go into Boston or Providence. And, sometimes I'd go to Michael's, but maybe they wouldn't have everything that I needed, or, I'd find like a small pocket of a little bookstore on the South Shore that had a couple of the supplies that I needed, but there wasn't just like an art supply destination. And on top of that, Yeah.
I know it's a problem. I mean, I've had people ask me, can you start, but it's a big commitment
Yes.
for somebody that's selling frames. And, I don't know enough about art supplies, and I'm trying to stay, focused on what we do know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like something I've heard from artists
Yes.
for ages.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, but
and
it's funny because like there's so many artists around here.
Yep.
I feel like every third person I talk to, they're practicing some kind of art, and so it's just like, why do we have this like art supply desert?
Yep.
And so I looked into it, and I think I was saying things in my head like, oh, maybe there's a reason there's not an art supply store around here. Like the market doesn't need it, or like we can get our stuff online. But the more that I talked with people, artists, a lot of them customers of yours, like they were saying the same things. Like it would be great if we had an art supply store here.
Yep.
And so I started looking into just opening an art supply store. And it was like, I was like, I could either become a doctor in my 40s for the same investment, or open an art supply store. That's how expensive it was, to buy all the supplies, to think about, how you'd scale it up and, be open and all this stuff. And at the same time, last summer, I can't believe it was just last summer, we went up to Maine for 4th of July, me and my family. And we stopped by the Portland Children's Museum, and they have this like maker space in the museum. And my kids were 4 and 5 at the time. And we're like walking through this museum, and it's chaotic and it's insane and loud. And, all the parents are like staring at their phones while their kids are running around, which is fine. We all need a break.
Yep.
But you go into the makerspace, and parents, grandparents, kids, everyone's doing something with the stuff.
Yep.
And it's all, most of it was refuse. Most of it was like recyclables, collage pieces from magazines, things like that. Used art supplies. And I was like, I need this in here. We need that. We need that in our community. So then I started learning about creative reuse centers, which are basically secondhand art supply stores as like one part of the organization, and then the other part is using supplies and materials for artistic purposes, which a lot of artists do anyway. We're all recycling pieces and materials. You're using a pane of glass as your palette, or for printmaking. You're using cardboard for whatever to build up or bulk up a 3D piece. But so anyway, I started looking into that concept, creative reuse centers, started doing some informational interviews across the country. There's some states that have more creative reuse centers than others, like Virginia, Texas, California.
Any reason?
I don't know why. I think once one starts, then the word spreads, and you realize like how much of an opportunity and a need it is for communities.
Yep.
And also it is very like hyper local. I don't think a lot of people are going to drive an hour and a half to go to a creative reuse center necessarily, but you'll go 15 minutes up the road, 30 minutes up the road to drop off your art supplies. So maybe that's why, but I'm not really sure. So I talked with a couple of places, one in Charlottesville. I want to make sure I get it right because I was saying Charlottesburg. But in Charlottesville, it's called the Scrappy Elephant. And then one in Boulder called Art Parts Creative Reuse Center. And they were very inspiring. Both women-owned organizations and women-supported organizations. But just a great resource to learn about how do you operate them, what are some of the downfalls, what are some things to look out for. And so when I decided that was the route that I was going to take, not just buying brand new art supply straight from distributors and manufacturers, it got easy from there. And I just started reaching out to organizations, small businesses to host drop-off events, to start building up my stock, basically. So my very first drop-off event was at a small bookstore in Pine Hills called Book Love. And it's a beautiful bookstore. And what I love about that bookstore is that they have so many different types of events in their space. They don't see their space as just a place to sell books. It's a place to really, as cliche as it might sound, but like really to build community and see it as a different space. Kind of like what you're doing here at Frame Center, where it's like you're not here just to sell frames and framing services, but you're providing opportunities for artists to gather and share their work and stuff. So when I reached out to Katie Mannix, who owns Book Love, she was all about it. And she was like, come whenever you want. We'll do, 2 drop-off events. The first event we had, we got 150 pounds of material, which was amazing for our first time. The second time, I had a commercial van and we filled it.
Okay.
And it was just like, it was so amazing. I did a couple other drop-off events, one at Four Corners Supply, and I still do host drop-off events at different organizations. We've got one here.
We got a basket over there.
Yes, exactly. And I think I'm going to expand into the South Coast area, like New Bedford area. So I'm talking with some folks down there. But it started with that, and then from there I was just like kind of sitting on all these supplies in my home, selling them through friends and family. Or giving them away. A lot of the supplies that I get, I like to just give away, especially to teachers and nonprofits.
Is that is recycling a big part of your background, or is that?
No, actually not.
It wasn't.
Not.
It wasn't about saving the planet.
It wasn't about saving the planet, but like it is and it isn't. I think becoming. I'm a mom to 2 young kids. They're 5 and 6, and I felt like I was just like wasting a lot. We live in a small house, and I'm very conscious about what we bring in. But I'm not always conscious about what we throw away. I'm always like, throw it in the donation bin. Let's get rid of it. And I feel like now we're having more opportunities for specific types of recycling. So it's not just like put everything in a trash bag and just like bring it to one destination. It's like, oh, I'm going to bring these items to the sharing shed in Rockland. I'm going to bring these items to, the 143 exchange, and it's, all just kids' clothes or maternity clothes. I'm going to bring these items to the spare studio. And I feel like people are really looking for those types of opportunities. But no, that was the long answer to say it wasn't that place. But
I mean, it's still something that you feel good about, right?
It's like, why not? Why not? And I was talking about my mother-in-law, for instance. Like, I can walk into her house and I can just be like, do you have this art supply? And she's like, I think I do, So like, I know that there's a lot of art supplies that people aren't using anymore, that need to just be put back into use. So
it's also great for someone that just wants to like try something out too, right?
Yes.
And not necessarily have to make a huge full financial commitment, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of which, so we've got the retail part, and then we're opening up kind of like a maker space or an experimental space just for that purpose, so that you don't have to commit to buying the entire, suite of items that you need for printmaking or for, jelly plate printing or even oils or colored pencil. I get a lot of supplies that are like, little nubbins or like tubes of paint that are like a little bit, where I'm just like, it's better that they're just used rather than sold. And so in this kind of experimental maker space, I want artists in our community to create like little curriculums for people to come in and practice something. And again, not necessarily have to commit to buying the item. But for instance, for me, I've been really interested in oil painting, but I've never committed to it because of the initial investment, or at least my perception of what that is. But I could imagine myself like going into a space that has it all kind of laid out and just kind of mess around with it. How do you clean a brush? You know, like what do I really need to like thin out the paint? So having these kinds of things available in that space is what I'm looking forward to.
I think that's like an awesome thing. I mean, I also think you should video it too. Like if you have someone doing presentations, like I think that would be an amazing opportunity for people to like, to have like some content to put out there that would help people learn,
yes,
like
exactly.
an educational piece, like, because even then, like if you set it up and record it and it's like, this is how you clean brushes with oil, when you're doing an oil painting.
Yes.
Somebody can watch that first, and it's almost like the first step before they actually go to the next time you have someone giving that talk. Or they can go back and reference it, like, how did you do that again?
Yes, exactly.
So I think that's would be especially, if they have the capacity over there in the building, right? Because they have a recording studio.
They do, I think, yeah. And what's really important to me is being able to pay the artists for their time. So like one of the ideas that I have for this experimental space is like almost like a docent artist. So it's like you walk in and, you know, Beth Bailey, who made these beautiful cups, or these mugs, is practicing her art, and she's doing something physically. And the focus of the week is ceramics. So you know that you're going to be engaging with a ceramicist who's there working on her pieces. But let's say you have your own curriculum, you know, or videos or whatever it is you're referencing, and you have a question. Hey, can I ask you a question? You know, so like that human interaction.
So almost like an artist in residency, yes. In a sense. Or?
Yes, exactly. But on a more frequent rotation, and you know, as available. But like, you know, I know some artists that that would love to just be able to be in a place that's not their living room or their home for a week or a day. I know for me, like I would want that. But don't want to commit to like having a studio. So maybe this could be that space for them too. But it is like packed to the gills in that room. And so it's getting there. I'm working with
you already need a bigger space.
I already need a bigger space. Yeah. I've been talking about it with Jean. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, I think it's a great concept. My head's already spinning with the ways to, with ideas for you, or ways that we could partner or do something.
Yes, so. Yeah. I feel like we kind of fall in that camp of, because I always like felt guilty about not producing art. I'm very artistic. I work in design. I work in product development. I'm very creative. Yeah, that's the day job. But I don't have and then so I kind of like get what is it? I beat myself up a little bit because I'm like, I'm not making enough art. But I'm like, but I'm actually producing a community or helping contribute to a community that does produce art. So like maybe that's my contribution.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I mean, I can see that you're producing some stuff, so you're producing more than I am at this point. But
Dina really pushed me to finish that. She was like, finish it, get it in for the show. And I'm like, all right, I will.
Well, I think it's awesome. But you are producing it. But I feel kind of the same way. I feel like at some point maybe I'll go back and I'll paint again. But at this point, I think I can make a bigger splash or contribution to the area and to the community by just promoting the arts and framing people's art instead.
Yeah. Like looking at creativity or artisticness from like a different angle. Just be everybody else's cheerleader for a while. Yes, exactly.
But that one that's over there that you did, the bird, maybe we'll grab can you grab that one that's over in the middle though? The artwork,
the female cardinal.
The female cardinal. Just hand it to me. So that one is just you said you were working. You create the paper too.
Yes, so that is paper that I made out of junk mail and my kids' art. So, or they're like worksheets that they've worked on. They come home from school and they're just like worksheets after worksheets and
getting that fed in from our assistant. We're gonna feature your piece right there.
Thank you, Don. So
you're putting all the paper together and
so I shred the paper. We started off doing this with like egg cartons, and then the egg cartons, they would just like they would fall apart. So I wanted to find something that had like longer fibers, I guess. So I just started shredding all of their worksheets and junk mail. If it's junk mail that has one good side, then we use it to like make zines or something like that. But if it's double-sided, I get so much American Express and Chase cards or whatever. So I just shred it, and then I have 2 screens that I use, or 3 screens, and so this it works really well with watercolor paper or with watercolor, and this is watercolor and gouache.
Okay.
It holds really well. Surprisingly,
you're trying out some really thin brushes. I thought it was colored pencil.
Yes, I love dry brush. Like I just love working in detail. I think I I appreciate representational art a little bit more than abstract art right now in my life. This was a picture that a gentleman who was really into birding took, and I emailed him and I was like, I love your female cardinal. She's just like staring at you. And can I use it to like paint something? I don't know what's going to happen with it. And he said yes. So I forget his name.
I think it's awesome too, because like you've created the whole, the whole thing you've created because you've created the paper first.
Yeah.
So
the paper's super fun.
Is that something you're going to, start doing a demo of how to make paper up in the studio?
I think so. It's like, it takes a lot of water.
Yeah.
And my studio doesn't have water. So, it's really messy and so I don't know. I cut some of my paper into smaller pieces, and I've been making garlands. I also sell them in like packs of 5, but I haven't sold any. So now I just kind of give it away. I'm just like, hey, like I know that you do watercolor, like here you go. Tell me what you think of it. And I was talking with Jen over at the Felted Bee, and I was like, do you have any wool fibers? Just things that you would kind of trash. And so we're gonna talk about like maybe adding some wool fibers to paper. I don't know if it would work because I know like cotton is used, like wool's like hydrophobic. But yeah, so we'll see. It's fun.
Any scrap cardboard. I know a place that's got plenty of it. If that, if you're for brown paper.
Yes. Actually, I experimented with tinting some of the pulp, and it ended up more green than gray, which is what I was hoping for. But just having different types of papers, it's not just kind of like this light gray, but maybe has a red tint or a black tint or darker gray tint. So. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
So
I did a bunch over the weekend.
Creating supplies for people too. This is awesome.
Yeah, and there's a couple other things that we're doing at the Spare Studio. So we work with Launch. So Launch is a group through South Shore Support Services, and it's providing vocational opportunities for adults with developmental disabilities. And so they come in every other Monday. We sort art supplies, and it's super fun. So right now they're helping with testing out markers, pens, sorting them into different types. We're also sorting by color. But after we're done with sorting, because we're kind of getting to the end of this like first onslaught of donations that I've received like over 5,000 pounds so far. We're going to start making products.
Yeah.
And then they're going to sell them. So they work at like the Cohasset Farmers Market. They have different places where they can do these kinds of things. So that's like on the horizon. But like one example is, Liz Haywood Sullivan.
Yep.
She gave us a bunch of slide frames. So like you put into like those like rotating slide projectors. I think that's what it's for.
Yeah.
But they're just like little plastic squares, and on the back it's a little sticky.
Yeah.
And so we're going to cut little slips of paper and stick it on the back, and it almost looks like a little plastic frame. It's got 2 little holes in the top, so I love garlands, so we're going to make them into garlands and then hopefully sell it. So it's just fun stuff, and putting out creativity.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. I have this kind of like restlessness to me, and I feel like this is a great way for me to like channel that energy, having a bunch of different things going on.
I think it's sounds like an awesome idea. Now you said you had a vended Four Corners supply too.
Yes.
Is that been like a good, because she has such a Julia has such a recycling mindset. Is that very helpful for you, or she kind of points some stuff out for you?
Yeah. Oh, Julia's awesome. I love her. I texted her last week and I was like, "Happy Friday," some weird financial question and small business question, and she's always so gracious and just really open with sharing. Yes, like I think that there's definitely with Four Corners and what Julia's doing. There's also other groups on the South Shore that are trying to create like circular economy services and offerings. And it would be great if we had like a network of folks that are doing that. But I've been doing a lot of some work with Sustainable Plymouth. They collected art supplies at the end of the school year from Plymouth, which is why we have all these like markers and pens and things. And usually they would give them to Staples, but this year they gave them to us. And as we're testing them out, we're noticing that like 90%, if not more, of the markers are like perfectly working and could be reused again. So who knows where they would have ended up at Staples? I'm sure in a good place, you know, not to take anyone down, but like, but here at least we definitely know where it's going to go. It's going to go back into being used. A teacher can come in and say, I want that and that and that, and walk out with it.
So people is not that you're just like throwing a pen to those baskets or like, but like sets of markers or like, you know, loose sets or like oddballs with some crayons.
Yeah. For now, I'm trying to figure out how all of that comes together.
Yeah.
My original like vision was that everything is open stock. So you can't come in and buy a pack of markers. You have to pick your colors. Yeah. And I almost wanted to do like, this is a so-and-so artist's palette for like landscapes. Take just these 5 things. Yep. But we'll see. Right now we're just sorting still. We have so many supplies to go through. Yeah. Cool.
And have you thought about trying to like partner with some of the art associations too, so that they have like stock lists from teachers and
Yes.
So is that doable, or is that with?
It's like it is doable. I'll give you 2 examples. Sure. One, Rita Berkowitz, who she's a pastel artist, amazing, like the loveliest person. She teaches pastel art classes at South Shore Art Center, and I recently came into a lifetime supply of soft pastels, a beautifully curated. Just tower of pastels. And Dina's actually been helping sort through them because it's just so much beautiful stuff. Yep. And when Rita saw it, she almost like passed out. She was just like, this is amazing, these like pastels. But so she has let her students know that this is a great resource. Like, come here to the Spare Studio if you need pastels. Oil paints. For everyone watching, I have a ton of oil paints, and I want to get them out there because they need to be used. Yeah. I have a lot of mediums, oils, thinners, different types of things that you would need for that. I think I haven't yet partnered with different arts organizations, but they're absolutely aware that I exist. Yeah. North River Arts has been very supportive. South Shore Arts Center. And very.
Yeah, I just wonder. From remembering taking classes, and you get you get the list of supplies. If you get that ahead of time, and somehow help them out. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, what I'm hoping to do too is, and I do this actually right now. Sometimes someone will just, because I have weird hours. Yeah. Someone will just reach out and say hey, do you have alizarin crimson, a watercolor? And I'm just like, yeah, I do. I have a student grade, and then I've got something a little bit more fancy, and here's the prices, and they're put it aside for me. So I do that kind of stuff too. Sometimes people know exactly what they want. They'll reach out, and usually I have it. Or if I don't, then I'll reach out to the community, and typically I'm able to find it because someone's got it somewhere. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So you're brokering.
Yeah, and I love that. I love products. So I love knowing brand stories and formulas of things and all of that. So it's I love knowing the supplies. Yep. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. It sounds like a real resource for the community, and
I hope so. Yeah.
Sounds like you're getting an education in all things art supplies. So
yes.
I know who I'm turning to when I have a question.
Yeah, please do. There's a couple podcasts that I like that talk about art supplies.
Oh yeah.
One of them is called Art Supply Insiders.
Okay.
And they abruptly stopped in 2023. I don't know why. I reached out to the guy that was doing it. And haven't heard anything back, but they interview people at Faber-Castell, at Winsor and Newton, at Golden. There was a really great interview where he did with the president of Golden Paints. Yeah. And just really great resource for that kind of stuff if you haven't heard of it. But
yeah, no, I would think that's one of those things you know when you start painting or you're doing stuff you don't know, and you pretty much go on the recommendation of whoever's teaching you, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. People can see this and next, they can see it on display for another week or so here at the Frame Center.
Yes, I'm excited for the artists event.
Big opening. A lot of those people that are showing in this exhibit, they're people that you are. I don't know, say roommates, but neighbors over at the Wright Building.
Yes.
The building, you said, is pretty. The people in the building have been received you well.
Yes. Yeah. It's been really amazing. I love the variety of artisans, crafters in there.
Yeah.
And also retail. Like on the first floor, there's myself. There's a bookstore, secondhand bookstore that Jeannie runs. But it's more than a bookstore, and I know she's talked about it on her podcast with you. But and then we also have a free kids clothing exchange, the 143 exchange on the first floor. And so I just love that it's just very open. It's very everyone that comes through that building, they pop in, looking and they're like, oh, hi. And they're like, do you take this kind of stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I'll actually take it. You know, right now I'm not taking frames or books or photo albums, but I pretty much take everything else. And it's a very interesting building. Haunted, apparently.
Yep, I've heard.
Yeah. And
friendly ghosts, though.
Yeah.
I suggested to Jeannie that they get read on the case.
Yeah, I had an encounter, so I did. Yeah, and yeah, it's just such a cool building. There was one day I was walking through there, and I was following someone to his studio because he was going to show me his studio, and I was like, I didn't even know this part of the building existed.
Yep.
I was like, the lights are so cool. Where is this carpet from? It's just really a cool building. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I talked to Jeannie about taking a spin up at some point, and either with Claude taking some pictures or Jackson running some video. So we'll be sure to stop by your space and say hello when we make that happen.
I'll make sure it's tidy. Right now it's a little cray.
Awesome. Well, I'm thrilled you came in. I think that people should explore what you're doing. I look forward to collaborating. And maybe take a walk through and see what other materials here that we can keep from ending up in the landfill and find a good place for opportunities to recycle.
Yeah. Wonderful. I love that. Thank you. And it was great to be invited on the show. This is super cool. I'm really happy that you're creating content for artists on the South Shore. I think and beyond. It's really awesome. So.
I think that a lot, I've, and I could go on for forever. I think a lot of people just need to know, being aware of people makes it easier to buy from them.
Yeah.
And I'm finding out new stuff too. There's a number of artists who I wasn't familiar with that are hanging right now. And I can't wait to put some faces to the name next Thursday. I look forward to coming by the Wright Building and exploring it. And
when was the last time you were there?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So long enough that I can't remember anything about it. So I'm gonna probably I'm looking forward to getting by there in the next month. If I have a free time tonight, I might try to swing in and check out the first Wednesday before I go home.
Yeah. It's been growing, and summertime it's hard to get people to come into an old building, but I'm hoping in the winter months we'll have more folks coming in.
Yeah, I think I have to be at the hockey rink I think tonight's actually going to work out really well for me. So
wonderful. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people there tonight.
Yeah. So open. And then I don't know if I'll have a camera crew with me tonight, but look forward to checking it out and getting back there and kind of try to shed lights on all these organizations.
Yeah.
There's so much great stuff going on around the South Shore. And that people just need to know where they can go see art.
Yep.
Know who artists are that they can buy from.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming.
So cool.